So we all know about the gross inequities between the NBA and the WNBA. Now WNBA All-Star Breanna Stewart is looking to make a dent in some of those inequities. So let's check out this tweet from free agent Stewart, who is currently in the process of free agency. I would love to be a part of a deal that helps subsidize charter travel for the entire WNBA. I would contribute my NIL posts plus production hours to ensure we all travel in a way that prioritizes player health and safety, which ultimately results in a better product. Who is with me? And for anyone who is, a sports fan or engages with women's sports online, you would expect a certain type of response to a woman athlete demanding more equality. Shockingly, the responses were very strong, most of them positive. So let's pull these responses up that she got to her tweet. A lot of people raising their hands up, saying that I am with you, which is fantastic. Nice departure from what female athletes usually receive online in the comment section. But let's get into more of this issue with charter flights and how it's going to provide the WNBA players with such a basic necessity. So Insider reported that the teams have long traveled from game to game on commercial flights, a reality that's resulted in countless nightmarish trips and endless hours crammed into coach for the world's best basketball players each season. ESPN also reported on this, and they said that unlike the 30 NBA teams, the 12 WNBA teams currently travel on commercial airlines, except in rare circumstances. While Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has pledged to address the issue, there's been no meaningful progress or timeline for implementing charter air travel in the near future. So a little bit more from ESPN. The New York Liberty, one of the 4 teams courting Stewart in free agency, were fined a record $500,000 for chartering flights during the 2022 season. Currently, the WNBA and its owner have decided that no team can fly charter, even if its ownership can pay for it, unless all teams can afford to fly charter. It is estimated that chartering travel for all teams would cost close to $30 million. And by the way, here is, because we'd love to show you the numbers, the current net worth of just 5 of the top richest WNBA owners. Got 5.9 billion, 5.4, 4.5, 2.4, and $2 billion. Those are billions with a B, not millions with an M. Literally one of those owners could afford to pay for charter flights for the entirety of the WNBA for years to come. And this is just one of the instances, one of the ways that the WNBA and more broadly, women athletes see this type of disparity in the treatment that they have versus their male counterparts. And I'll just say this, I played basketball all my life. When I was in high school, a WNBA player came to my school and she told us, don't pursue a career as a professional athlete as a woman, because she had to work multiple jobs. She wasn't just a WNBA player professionally. She also had to have a second job so that she could provide for her family as a single mother. I mean, and if that isn't telling about the deep, deep inequities that these female athletes who are at the top of their game are experiencing, I don't know what is. Jessica?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a player in the NBA give birth, like bring life into the world, and then come back and have a double-double game. It's happened in the WNBA though. I mean, it's just crazy how many obstacles players in the WNBA have to overcome, and they're paid so much less. And this whole argument that you'll hear oftentimes from people who have never played the sport of basketball, they'll say, well, if you watch an NBA game, you'll see that it's much harder. It's not true. There are so many people I know who played professional basketball, who watch the women's game and remark at how much more technically complex it is and how much more communication needs to happen and how much more complicated their plays are on a regular basis. That so much so that they learn from watching women play the sport. And so it's shocking to me that the only reason we're in this situation is because of patriarchy, right? Is because sports were traditionally excluding women from being allowed to participate and play them at all. Like, it's just the path dependency of that. That's the only reason men's basketball is so much more commercialized than women's basketball. And when you think about that, you have to consider, okay, so it's the people who own the teams and the people who own the networks that are responsible for this continued division. They're completely fine with it. It doesn't need to be this way. And it's a decision that it is.
Yeah, and I think you make a really good point there. And I do just want to jump ahead in the story a little bit so that I can highlight the things that professional male basketball players have been saying and the support that they've been giving. So let's take a look at what Kyrie Irving had to say about the charter jet issue.
Got to get something done, and I'm with them. No matter how much it costs, per se. I think we can all collectively come together and make something very doable happen. And we just want to have our ladies have peace of mind while they're playing. They don't need to be overseas all the time. They need to be here playing in front of their families every single day, doing what we do. So I think it's a lesson learned right now of how we can attack this as a family, because W in the NBA, we're a family. And I think things will be figured out before the season gets started. So I'm very optimistic about that.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar also voiced his support on Twitter. He said, been there, done that, and played at the highest levels. Today's NBA players never had to deal with the effects of commercial travel on their bodies. I'm all for WNBA players getting equal rights. Congrats, Breanna, for raising this issue. So we have here the men at the highest level of basketball, who are supporting the women. And I really think that should just shut up all of the people who have never touched a basketball in their life, with Twitter fingers, trying to undercut this message from the women and these demands from the women that they deserve more equality in their sport. Now, Jessica, last word on this.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Kyrie is using his platform to weigh in on this. And it's unfortunate that it takes a viral moment for something to be done. We saw the same thing happen during March Madness when members of the women's teams were posting on TikTok because they had a TikTok presence. They could get people to pay attention to it. It's just unfortunate that it comes to that they're not willing to do the right thing unless there's so much public pressure that they'll lose business if they don't.